All right, let's jump right in. Today we're breaking down a powerfully simple and honestly pretty controversial philosophy for building wealth from financial guru J.L. Collins. It's a totally straightforward approach that starts by making you question pretty much everything you've ever been taught about money.
So let's get right to it with a question that really hits at the heart of the so-called American dream. We're always told that buying a home is the smartest investment you can make. But what if that's not just wrong? What if it's actually holding you back?
And there it is. This one quote from Collins just stops people in their tracks, right? It's a direct challenge to a cornerstone of financial advice. He says that for a young person who's serious about building wealth, this is the first, most crucial move. So, what on earth is he talking about?
Okay, this is what Collins calls the home ownership trap. He argues that for a lot of us, it's not a path to wealth at all. The biggest misunderstanding? Thinking that your mortgage payment is basically the same as paying rent. That, my friends, could not be further from the truth.
See, here's the thing. Rent is your ceiling. It's the most you'll pay for housing that month, period. A mortgage, on the other hand, that's just the floor. It's the absolute bare minimum you're going to be paying, and believe me, the costs only go up from there.
And oh boy, this is where the real pain starts. You've got property taxes, constant maintenance, maybe some renovations, and then, bam, you need a new roof. That's 20 grand. Or the septic system fails, that could be 25 grand. These are massive, unpredictable costs that renters literally never have to worry about, and they can completely blow up your financial plan.
And this right here, this is the gut punch. Home prices have just exploded while wages have barely budged. So what might have been a solid investment for our parents' or grandparents' generation is now a gigantic financial burden that just eats up way too much of our income.
But you know, the cost isn't just about the money. Collins makes this incredible point that owning a home anchors you. It literally ties you to one spot. And when you're young, that lack of flexibility is a killer. It can stop you from picking up and moving for a dream job, a life-changing opportunity. The cost of that lost potential? It's impossible to measure, but it is enormous.
So if the traditional path is a trap, it forces us to ask a much bigger question. This leads to a fundamental shift in how you even think about money. It's the idea that underpins this entire philosophy.
You know, our whole society basically trains us to think about money in just one way. What can I buy with it? A new car, a bigger house, a fancy watch. It keeps us on this hamster wheel of earning just to spend, forever trading our precious time for more stuff.
But here's the reframe from Collins, and it is a game changer. Stop thinking about what your money can buy. Start thinking about what your money can earn. He says every dollar you save is like a little soldier that you sent out into the world to work for you. And their ultimate mission? To buy you the single most valuable thing there is, your own freedom.
This old parable just nails the whole philosophy. A powerful government minister sees his old friend, a simple monk, and says, "Hey, if you just learned to flatter the king, you wouldn't have to live so simply." And the monk just replies with this quote, "It's so powerful. Real freedom isn't about having more, it's about needing less."
Okay, so that's the mindset. But how do you actually do it? What's the practical path to buying all this freedom? Well, this is where the simple beauty of Collins' approach really shines. It's not some complex secret strategy. It all comes down to three basic pillars.
That's literally it. Avoid debt, live on less than you make, and invest the difference. These three things create this powerful, positive feedback loop. Avoiding debt frees up your cash. Living on less creates a surplus, and then you put that surplus to work investing. That right there is the engine of wealth.
And look, living on less doesn't mean you have to be miserable. Not at all. It's about making a conscious trade. It's about choosing your freedom over what Collins calls the tyranny of the must-haves. That constant pressure to buy the newest phone, the coolest car. You just have to ask yourself, what do I want more? That shiny new thing or the freedom to walk away from a job I hate?
All right, let's talk about that third step, because it's the most powerful one. Investing the surplus. This is how you actually build the engine that's going to power you all the way to financial independence.
Now, before we get into the nuts and bolts of how, just look at this number. Take a second to let it sink in. Over $1 million. This isn't some fantasy. This is the simple math of what happens when you consistently invest a reasonable amount of money over a long period of time. It's absolutely life-changing.
And this right here is the magic behind that number. It's the power of compounding. Check this out.
Of that $1 million, you only put in about $200,000 yourself. The market, your money making more money, did the rest. It did almost all of the heavy lifting for you.
So how do you capture that growth? Well, Collins recommends something super simple: a low-cost, broad-based index fund. Just think of it like you're buying a tiny little slice of the entire American economy. You don't have to worry about picking the next Amazon, because as old companies fade away and new winners emerge, the fund automatically adjusts. It's a self-cleansing system that does the work for you.
Okay, so the strategy itself is dead simple, right? But here's the catch. The execution is actually really, really hard. And why is that? Because the single biggest threat to your financial success isn't a stock market crash, it's you. It's the person in the mirror.
And this analogy brilliantly explains why. Collins says to think of the stock market like a glass of beer. The beer is the real, fundamental value of all the companies, their profits, their assets. The foam on top? That's all the market hype, the fear, the daily noise, and speculation you see on the news. The simple path is about one thing: calmly investing for the beer and completely ignoring the foam.
And the data on this is crystal clear. The more you tinker, the more you trade, the more you react to all that foam, the worse your results are. You rack up more fees, you make emotional mistakes, and get this, constantly getting in the way and interrupting that beautiful compounding process is the single most destructive thing you can do to your own portfolio.
So what's the answer? Well, the legendary founder of Vanguard, Jack Bogle, put it perfectly with this quote: "The best strategy is to set it, forget it, and be incredibly hands-off." In fact, being completely uninterested in the day-to-day drama of the stock market, that might just be your greatest superpower as an investor.
So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? It's that building serious, life-changing wealth doesn't require a secret formula or a complex strategy. It just requires a simple plan that you stick with discipline for a very long time. In this world, simplicity isn't a weakness, it's a superpower.
And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. When you look at your own finances, your own habits, what are you really investing in? Are you focused on the solid long-term value of the beer? Or are you getting distracted by the fizzy, emotional, and ultimately fleeting churn of the foam? The answer to that question might just define your entire financial life.